Hello, and welcome to season 11 of the Meet the Mancunian podcast, Social Impact Stories from Manchester. I'm your host, Deepa Thomas-Sutcliffe, and I'm so glad you're listening to my podcast today. This season, I'm proud to collaborate once more with the Spirit of Manchester Awards to highlight some of this year's incredible nominees. These are personal stories of care, courage, and commitment told in the voices of the people working quietly and passionately behind the scenes in our communities. Every Tuesday, I'll bring you thoughtful conversations that explore what drives these change makers, the impact they've made, and the lessons they've learned along the way. I hope you find their stories as moving and as meaningful as I did. You can listen to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or on my website, meetthemancunian.co.uk. Let's discover the heart of Manchester, one story at a time. Passionate about tackling substance abuse? In the third episode of season 11, we hear from Idowu Morafa, founder Across Ummah and nominee Volunteer of the Year, as well as winner Social Economy Champion. In Idowu's own words,
we've been able to help as many as possible people within the community. So the issue of literacy, education barrier, health disparities, we've been able to bridge so many discrepancies that are affecting our community.
Thank you so much, Idowu, for joining me today.
Thank you, Deepa. And thank you, everyone, for joining us in today's podcast.
Absolutely. A big thank you to listeners who are giving us their time, and I'm sure they'll learn a lot from your interesting journey. What first inspired your connection to the Manchester community? Was there a particular moment that started you on this journey?
Thank you for the question. I'm really interested in the community. Anything that can foster peace, harmony in the community is like my DNA. And then coupled with the fact that I did my master's in issues in brain addiction and mental illnesses, I decided to use the knowledge to help the community because I can see that is a problem across nations. And that's where the name Across Ummah comes from, across nation, because mental illness affects everybody, regardless of their color, ethnicity, background, and especially issues relating with addiction to substances, addiction to gambling. Those are the reasons why I decided to establish this organization to help as many people in the community as possible. I believe that my inspiration comes from seeing how small acts of support through mental health programs, through different initiatives, life-changing projects that can help as many people as possible. I'm also connected in bringing much harmony into the community because I believe that's where love transcends to the communities, helping community to grow stronger and individuals to become more confident and connected with their communities. This will make us to build better society for all.
Thank you so much. And it's really interesting that it was both your studies, but also your passion that has come together and this love for community and, like you said, helping to create a harmonious community. So very interesting that you told us about Across Ummah, meaning across nations. How did your journey with Across Ummah begin? What does the organization do on a day-to-day basis? And what are its focus areas coming forward?
Across Ummah, we do a lot of projects, programs, community engagements, helping to build the gaps in terms of health disparity, mental issues, substance abuse, anything that has to do with mitigating crises in families. Our main focus for Across Ummah. We do give empowerment programs to the community. We're being supported by Manchester City to run family hub, and these are some of the areas where people are connected to other services like a holistic approach, counseling, empowerment program, digital training to help our community to thrive, to help them to learn new skills. Because the issue of adverse childhood experiences is a big thing in ethnic minorities. And it is my goal and my mission to help as many as possible family to close the gap of this problem that are really affecting our community. So we work closely with schools, other community partners to run different life-changing projects that can make our community to prosper.
Thank you. And it does sound like there's a lot of great work that your organization is doing. You've been nominated for two of the Spirit of Manchester categories, the Volunteer of the Year and the Social Economy Champion. And what does being nominated for Spirit of Manchester Awards mean to you and to your organization?
For people to volunteer is a very good skill that has enabled many people to jump into job ladder and for them to build confidence, because there are a lot of people that have various skills, but the confidence is not there for them. So with Across Ummah empowerment program, numeracy, digital skills, various trainings, it have helped a lot of people to get various jobs in schools, in hospitals, in different various organizations. And then for the aspects of the fact that we support a lot of community, regardless of their age, regardless of their education. Some are ex-convicts, some like housewives, some are living with terminally ill illnesses. They come to us and then we give various support for them, depending on their skills, depending on their strengths and weaknesses. We're just there for them. And for that connection, we are fully embedded into the community. We help them. We don't judge anyone. People come to us, we give the support, we help them to be successful in life. We help them to achieve various potentials that they have in life. So we help them to we have to tackle various social, economic issues, language barrier that they might have. So these are the reason why we think we are nominated for these social economic champions, because we believe that if the community can strive, then the society will prosper. So these are some of the reasons that we try to tackle various issues revolving around inequalities. And I think that is one of the reasons why the community see the effect of what we do, and they believe in us, and hence the nomination for this award.
Thank you for sharing that. What are some of the tough moments you've had to overcome along this journey, and what helped you get through them?
There are lots of problems that we have, various challenges that we have in our diverse community. The language barrier is there. And we can see that most of us in ethnic minority or global majority, you see that in most cases, so most of us are in the lowest job ladder, and it's really difficult for them to match up with the community. And then looking after their family sometimes can be a big issue. And I believe that we can't fix the whole world, but Across Ummah is just like a tiny kind of window whereby we believe that we can help our community. And for this, we try to organize various events, various trainings to help the community. Language is one of the problems, and hence the reason why we established the digital training, numeracy training, and literacy training. And this have really helped many of our service users. We even have some like convicts, some like substance abuse. We help so many people right from the road and back into the office. They've been able to take responsibilities for their lives, and from where they believe that they are nothing, that they are people of substance within the community. We try to bridge the problem of isolation as well. So we've been able to help as many as possible people within the community. So the issue of literacy, education barrier, health disparities, we've been able to bridge so many discrepancies that are affecting our community. So for Across Ummah, trying to connect with different stakeholders for them to support us in various ways is a kind of challenge that we have, because without funding, we will not be able to run various life-changing projects that we run for the community. So that is one of the problems that we have. And another thing is that people somehow do not have much trust in some of our policymakers. But the issue of the fact that they can relate with us, the reason why they trust us and they always come to us, and we've been able to help them, to educate them. And for this reason, many of them have been able to attain the best things in their life, in terms of their health, in terms of looking for a job, in terms of going further to learn more, to go to colleges, universities, or to look for better careers that can help them to support themselves and support their families.
It's really interesting that you're talking about language barrier, but also some of the aspects of isolation and also how you engage different stakeholders. Can you share a little bit about the impact of your work?
We can see that many of the people from ethnic minorities, we have global majority. So sometimes step into social issues. And the fact of the adverse childhood experiences that we mentioned are very common within our community. Issues of domestic abuse, issues of substance abuse, gambling, addiction to various stuff, very common. So with Across Ummah fully embedded in the community, I've been able to create holistic health centers across Manchester, in the Ardwick, in Longside, Levenshulme, to help our community. The reason being that we've been able to create and strengthen family bonds. And part of what we do as well, I mentioned earlier, is the aspect of the food crisis. After COVID is a big problem. So we've been able to step into this to bridge the gap in terms of mitigating all these crises that are affecting our communities. So the food is a big problem. So with the help of the Manchester City Council, we've been able to help over 4,000 people across Manchester. And what we do is to provide a valuable, value for money, low cost food, teaching them how to prepare some of the food. And then for them, because for some family, to have food for their family is a big problem. And we can see that is one of the issues that are causing domestic violence, crimes in our community. So we've been able to step in to help as many as possible families across Manchester. And not just only that, the Family Hub is a very fantastic project that is run by Manchester City Council. We've been able to mitigate crisis in family. We've been able to connect with different stakeholders. We've been able to help many families to have access to various life transformative projects that are run, signposting them to various organizations, to various places where they can get help. And not just only that, we help in terms of the bridging these health disparities as well. We've been able to run so many projects. So that's the issue of the fact of mental issues or substance abuse within our communities. Because we believe that for so many of us, it's okay for us not to be okay. But for them to seek help is something that we see as a taboo. So we've been able to bridge that big gap, connecting members of the community to the NHS mental health teams, and they've been getting a lot of support in terms of this. And then healthier lifestyle. We love our food, but we've been able to create better awareness for the community on how to adopt healthier lifestyle. And moreover as well, exercising is another project that we run for the community. Our youth are not left behind. We've been sponsored by BBC Children in Need to support many of our children and our young people. And this have enabled many of them to build confidence for them to be able to achieve maximum potentials in their life. And we have a lot of role models in our community that they can learn from. And these are the ways that we believe that we are creating impact. We've saved so many youth from gun crime, knife crimes. There are not a lot of opportunities where our youth can relate. And we've also been able to bridge the gap, the intergenerational gap between our youth and the parents by giving them parental coaching and creating a platform whereby our youth and the older generation can learn from one another. So our youth educate our older generation, while the youth as well, senior generation also educates our youth. So we have various role models among us that help us to do this. So with this, we've been able to create a lot of peace and harmony within the community, foster local collaboration within families. We believe happy family will build into happy community, and happy community will lead to happy society.
A really great philosophy, and I loved all the different aspects you talked about. I know that there's serious food poverty and fuel poverty across Manchester, but I didn't realize it causes domestic abuse and crime. And that was really insightful to learn. And I like that you're looking at different ways to support the community, including the youth, reverse mentoring almost the older people and learning from each other. Very interesting. Are there any myths you might want to clarify about either your work or the voluntary sector that you'd like to just tell people that this is actually not true, but people think it?
We've tried to put out there about the issue about mental issue, because in our community, most of us are very religious. If you don't go to mosques, we go to churches, and I believe our other partners as well. So we've been able to desensitize the issue of mental issue, because most of us are prayer warriors, and in most cases, they ignore the fact that mental issue is out there. Or maybe it could be like a misconception about, oh, could it be like a demon affecting someone? So it's difficult for some of our community to identify when someone has a bipolar issue or when someone has issues, schizophrenia or things like that. But with our intervention into the community, we've been able to push it out there that mental health is real, for our community to connect with the counselor, and that we give holistic approach in tackling these issues. And then another issue that I would like to push out there is some of the projects that we run about cancer awareness. So cancer is not something for anyone to be ashamed of, or for someone to be abusing other people. It doesn't have anything to do with religion. So we've been able to push this message across with the help of NHS and the Manchester City Council, and it's ongoing. So another aspect that I want our community to realize is that collectively, we can tackle the issue of ACEs. When we see a family struggling, we should pull hands together to support them instead of making mockery of them, because no one is infallible and no one is perfect. So pulling hands together, supporting one another, we will be able to transform our community. We will be able to have a healthier and happy society for all to live in, and for our future generation to live in peace and harmony. Another aspect that I would like us to tackle as well is the issue of environment. So is Our community should realize that we have to put all our resources together by helping ourselves, by helping our future generation to tackle the issue of global warming. So recycling is very important. Our youth have done a lot of projects in this for us to recycle, to help them to live a better life. So these are some of the information that I would like to push out there for our community.
Really interesting is a word I can relate because even in the Indian culture that I'm part of, I would say that's right about mental health being a bit of a taboo subject. And it's less likely that people feel comfortable asking for support because they're so worried about what society may think. So it's good that there's change happening both in India and here, but definitely more can be done. So thank you for all the good work you're doing in the area. What is your top tip or your go to piece of advice for listeners to support the community? Where should they start if somebody wants to do something similar in another part of the world or another part of the UK?
I believe a journey of 20 years begins with a step. And for one to be focused, if you believe you can dream, then you can achieve. Bit by bit, one needs to build up and then surround yourself with positive minded people that can add value to what you are doing, that can align your goals with their own. So this will enable one to thrive and for you to reach out to people that can support your cause that you want to push out for the people. So doing things like this and not giving up, if you believe in yourself and you believe what you are doing is right, definitely success will be at your door one day. And not giving up, not looking back, but keep on moving, keep on doing the right cause, doing the right connection, and then looking for the people that can add a lot of value to what you are doing. Surely, one will achieve a lot.
That's excellent advice, especially the one about finding your supportive people who can help you on your journey as well.
What I would like to give to other people, like I said, for one to find their need. What do you really want to do? What are the impacts that you want to create for the community? And then this will help us to be able to give positive impact for the community and then build strong partnership around yourself. Engage with volunteers and empower them is very good because this is they are the people that move the community, they build the community. And for one to be patient as well, be patient and be persistent. Meaningful community change takes some time, but the effort builds momentum. And then for one to stay true to one passion, to one vision, that we inspire others to join and to help you to move momentum with your mission. And then for if anybody wants to work with us, they are welcome, or anybody wants to add value to what I'm doing, they are welcome. And I believe life is still a journey. I learn in the process. We learn from our mistakes and then we move on as well. So if anybody wants to join us, they can check our website and on our Instagram and Facebook page.
Thank you, Idowu. That's really good, useful advice to think of, as well as a good call out for people to come in as volunteers or as people who might want to collaborate with your work. And I hope people get in touch with you. Now we move to the signature questions that I ask all my guests. And because it's Meet the Mancunian, there's a couple of questions about Manchester I'll be asking. The first one is, if Manchester's community spirit could be bottled up, what would you say is its secret ingredient?
The secret ingredient is Manchester is a diverse community. So if Manchester spirit could be bottled up, the secret ingredient is the love and the passion among the community, their resilience to build and foster brighter future for us. I believe that's the secret ingredient. And you can see the love among the diverse community across Manchester.
That's a great response. And I love that about love, passion, and resilience. And Manchester definitely, if something tough happens, just takes a good approach to finding a solution anyway, which is really nice. If you could build a Manchester Community Hall of Fame, who was the first person you'd induct and what would the plaque say?
I think I like the spirit of Andy Bowman. He's a great leader. So I will invite him.
And what would you put on his plaque?
Diversity.
That is interesting. And he's very popular on the podcast with many guests suggesting they want to meet him or they want to honor him in some way. And I guess he's had a huge impact on the Greater Manchester area. What's a made in Manchester moment you won't forget? Something that could have only happened here.
I think the curry man is one of the made in Manchester that is very popular, especially during the Eid or the festive season. So you can't find it in many cities. Korima, I got to know about lots of tourists. They just want to visit Korima to see the beauty, especially at night.
I feel like I should go there. I've never actually been to the Curry Mile myself, but that is really interesting to have as a unique way of looking at Manchester. When you look back at your life, what is the most valuable lesson you have learned either through work or your life?
Looking back, I wish I can turn the clock backward. And this is one of the reasons why Across Ummah is established, is like impacting the right knowledge for our younger generation, showing them love. I believe and I think the adverse childhood experiences can be curtailed if the parents know the right thing to do, if the neighbors know the right thing to do, if we all work together collectively to support one another, to help us to extinguish the fire of racism in the community, for us to believe that regardless of your color, regardless of your ethnicity, regardless of your background, is one life, one soul that is living in everyone, and for us to support and respect one another. So having this in mind, I think Manchester will be a better place for everyone to live.
Definitely a beautiful thought. There's so much we have in common rather than the things that divide us. It's more that we have things in common. And you're absolutely right to also talk about the impact on adverse childhood experiences. Some of it is due to ignorance and not having good role models or support in those early years, or even for the family members to know how to support their children through this experience. What's the best way for people to get in touch with you and to learn more about your work? What's your website? What's your social media? And where can they find you in the community?
Thank you, Deepa. Yeah, and to our listeners as well. People can find us on our website to see some of the fantastic work that we're doing on www.across. And then our Instagram page, Facebook page, and TikTok as well for our younger generation. And then our email address is admin@acrossummah.com. We run a lot of fantastic, life-changing projects, programs that are enriching our community. So please to join us and give us a shout at any point in time. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Idowu. This has been a really nice conversation. Appreciate your taking the time today.
Thank you very much, Deepa, for the beautiful work that you are doing. Thank you for having me today.
Thank you for listening to the Meet the Mancunian podcast. I hope today's episode gives you a deeper appreciation of the powerful work happening right here in Manchester. It's been a real honor for me to feature these Spirit of Manchester Award nominees and share their stories with you. If something you heard resonated with you, please share the episode with a friend or leave me a review. It really helps other listeners find the podcast. I'd love to hear from you. Visit meetthemancunian.co.uk or connect with me on social media @Meet the Mancunian on Instagram, Facebook, and Blue Sky. and at the rate Meet the Mancunian podcast on YouTube. Until next time, keep championing kindness, connection, and community. Together we can make our world just a little bit brighter. Thank you.